Every day, we are learning more about our changing world. Every day, ideas are born, challenges become opportunities. To achieve our purpose, we need people who can turn ideas into reality, who can create success. That's us at ABB. Thinkers, engineers, scientists, innovators. We push the boundaries of technology to make industry safer, more intelligent, and more productive.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this seminar on the ground operators in Africa today as part of IMARC 2020. We've got some interesting guests for you today. And first of all, I'd like to introduce you to Anna Rabin. Anna is based in Tanzania at the moment, working in venture risk consultants, and she'll be updating you on what she's been doing on the east side of Africa. And also on the west side of Africa, we have Ballo Boureima. Now, Ballo is based in Burkina Faso and is currently the country manager for Arrow Minerals. And I'm Bill Witham. I'm the CEO of AAMEG, the Australian African Minerals and Energy Group, based in Perth. So we've got a good spread of people from around the world today. And first of all, I'm just going to ask Anna and Ballo to talk a little bit about themselves, a bit of background, and then we'll get into what they're seeing on the ground there every day. Anna, firstly, would you like to go first?
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much, Bill. I'm based in Dar es Salaam, and I've got a background in political risk advisory. So helping generally large companies enter new markets, engage with politicians, regulatory authorities, etc., when they're in market, and occasionally exit gracefully. So I've had quite a large focus in the mining sector throughout my career, and I've also worked in-house with a mining exploration firm doing stakeholder and government relations. So currently working with a number of companies who are current or prospective investors in the Tanzanian mining and mining services market.
Thanks, Anna. And Ballo, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. I have a master's degree in geology, and I'm involved in mining industry since 25 years ago as a geologist, film geologist to country manager now. And I've been working for a couple of the company, working for Ashanti Goldfield and Goldfield in Malia. And I spend most of my time in Burkina Faso. I'm a citizen from Burkina, for sure. But I used to work with Goldfield in Mali as a project manager.
All right, Ballo. And yeah, we've seen a lot of activity, at least on the corporate front over in West Africa. We've had Endeavour Mining merging with Semafo, and then I think another announcement today of Endeavour merging with Teranga. So there seems to be still a lot going on. Just what are your observations from Ouagadougou and the areas surrounding Burkina? Is everyone pretty positive there? Have you seen a lot of action?
Yes, there is a lot of action. People are still interested by Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is now we have fourth gold mining country in Africa, and people still coming there. That's a good thing for us. I think if let people know that Burkina Faso is a good country where they could continue to invest in gold mining.
Yeah, that's
mostly
good.
Gold mining.
And I've heard you've had quite a bit of rain there lately. Is the wet season over? Is it drying up there now, or is it still quite?
That's right. Yeah, it's the dry season now, and the field activity just start now. When it's the wet season, as we are working in the remote area, sometimes it's not easy to get on the exploration area. So the best period for the exploration is the dry season.
Oh, that's good. So everyone's quite busy.
Yes.
Okay, Anna, I might just go over and talk to you now in East Africa. Yeah, just tell us, I guess, Tanzania obviously has had reported very little COVID there. And as you said, there's quite a few prospective investors in Tanzania. Are you seeing now, what was the reactions to the recent elections? And has that given everybody a little bit of impetus to get cracking now that the elections are over?
Yeah, most definitely. I think there was a lull in business activity in the month or two prior to the election. And now the results have obviously confirmed that CCM and President Magufuli will have 5 years in office. I think everyone now is quite patiently waiting for the announcement of the full cabinet. So we're still waiting to know who the new mines and deputy mines ministers will be. With that said, there's still been significant engagement in the meantime with the permanent secretary, so at the technocratic level, and also with the mining commission. So the wheels of business have continued to move, but it will be great once we have a new cabinet formed, as there's a couple of significant decisions, including the pending 2 special mining licenses that we would love to see granted in the near future, and just to see sort of engagement with the new cabinet. But in the president's speech to Parliament last week now, he made it very clear that mining is one of the key sectors that he wants to develop to grow the economy. And I think, as you referenced COVID, mining is now the largest forex earner in Tanzania. It was traditionally in the last few years tourism, but with a global decline and travel bans and restrictions, I think mining has only increased importance and will only continue to increase in its importance in growing the Tanzanian economy.
Okay, that's pretty interesting to hear. So you said that the Minerals Commission, that's still been continuing to work through this period, and that's a relatively new commission. What's your perception of how that's been operating and progressing?
Yeah, it was to separate some of the more licensing matters from some of the policy matters. So the ministry continues to take the lead on policy making, be it legislative, regulatory, etc. And then the Mining Commission is a separate entity that now focuses largely on licensing issues. I think from an efficiency perspective, it's been fantastic. The executive secretary is sort of very amenable to many potential and current investors. So it has sped up a lot of decision making. And as you say, in that sort of 6-month period, both pre and post an election, where politics sort of takes over, it's been great that we've still had the Mining Commission sort of functioning as normal.
All right, great. Okay, Ballo, might ask you, there's been a lot of political activity as well in your part of the world. I think Burkina, in fact, has some elections coming up, and the recent changes in Mali, have you noticed quite an effect of that? Is that causing people just to slow down and wait for the elections to be over?
Yes, but for Burkina, it's not really a big problem because you are really emerging democracy. I don't think there will be a trouble in our election there, because right now it's over that we have something that is very powerful that's occupied the place. No, it's really open. The election is really very open, and there is no problem. We don't think there will be a trouble for this election. But for sure, just we have to be careful. Just be patient until the election, after the election period. But it's not really a big problem there. The life continues as normally.
That's good. That's good to hear. And as I mentioned earlier, some of that corporate activity. How's the east of the country going? I hear that West African Resources obviously doing very well. You've got Golden Rim and Predictive Discovery as well out to the east. And the mine that has Endeavour got the mine going again out east as well.
Yes, for sure. For now, up to now, the eastern area of the country is very dangerous area now. Even ourselves, we used to have four permit there, 4 tenement there, but we used to working now to relinquish them because the area is not at all secure so far for this area. But Western Africa Resources is in the area that is relatively safe. There's no problem there. But Endeavour area, Bungu mine is a very dangerous place to go there for now. They need really more security.
Yeah, right. So people are still very careful of that area, but I guess we're all hopeful that things will get improved there over the time. But yeah, it's good to hear that around Ouagadougou and west of the country is stable. What about Mali at the moment? Can you tell us much of what's happening up there?
Yes, for Mali, yeah, for sure they are getting through a very troubled period, for sure. Now we have to be just patient, but the southern area is safe. There is no problem. The area around the capital city, there is no problem there. Capital city and the southern area is quite relatively safe, but the northern area is really unsecure to go there for now. But for the political, I think they are on the good way to yes, to rebuild the state. In Mali, they really need to rebuild the state because the state is almost like collapsing. But I think they are on the good way now to rebuild a good state. And that will take them an 18 months, 18, 19 months to build that for up to the next election. But I think they are on the good way. We are really hopeful for that. But for now, it's really trouble period.
Right. Well, that's good to hear. Yes, we have heard of. We have many members that are in Mali. Firefinch have recently just bought the Marilla mine, and then again, Côte d'Ivoire, of course, also has a lot of activity, and we have Perseus Mining continuing to build a new mine at Yaouré, and continued investment into Guinea and Senegal as well. So, yeah, that's
Right.
good to hear. All right, Anna, I just might ask you about what about the wider East African region? You know, Kenya, Rwanda, and those countries around Tanzania. Are you hearing much about what's going on in those countries?
I think from a general business perspective, they've been hit a lot harder than Tanzania. Uganda and Rwanda are heavily reliant on tourism as a percentage of GDP, and they have imposed quite strict lockdowns throughout the COVID pandemic. Kenya's economy is more diversified. It includes mining, of course, base minerals being one of them. So it's more diversified, but even still protracted lockdowns, curfews, restrictions on movement, etc. So I think economically, the region has suffered quite a bit. Tanzania has obviously taken a somewhat controversial approach in the global sphere, one similar to Sweden, and that we've largely continued with business as usual. And from a business perspective, I think that's done wonders for the growth of the country in terms of allowing those tourists that want to enter, but also allowing sort of mining to continue and other sort of services to continue entering the market. But I think as a region, East Africa, like with many regions across the globe, will be impacted negatively. And I suspect, unlike Tanzania, that has so far taken limited external soft financing from multilaterals, countries such as Kenya have taken a significant amount of funds, be it from the IMF, etc. And they're now going to have to navigate how to pay back those loans. So the impact is going to be substantial and it's going to be really protracted.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. There is quite a lot of debt in some of those countries. I've made aware of Zambia, for example, also has a lot of Euro bonds, and those interest payments are due. And yeah, there is some dispensation for countries during this COVID period, but how those debts will need to be repaid is going to be an interesting event. But yeah, I think we all believe here that mining is an important part. As you know, we see it's as important in sharing and creating jobs and creating value for those people in those countries, and helping them, of course, helping those countries earn foreign capital and foreign exchange. So yeah, we certainly hope that does happen. All right, Ballo, I might also ask you another question, just around about the equipment and etc. in your area. Are you finding that you've got enough? Is there enough drilling companies? Is there enough? Are you being able to get enough equipment in to do the exploration you want, or is there still some delays on equipment coming in?
Yes, in the relatively past time, there was enough equipment there to do the drilling, and we have enough company where to have enough drilling company, laboratory as well. But now, due to the security issue, some of the companies just start moving for now, just to see what will happen in the next coming time. Like we have the company like let's say that Geodrill that start moving to Ivory Coast because Burkina is coming insecure, but there still are some company there. But yes, sometimes it starts to become hard to find a drilling company.
Yeah, I believe one of our Capital Drilling would still be operating in Burkina, and they seem to have a lot of rigs around. So there is.
Yes.
Yep.
We are just the one client of the Capital Drilling in Burkina. As you know, we have a strategic alliance with Capital Drilling as well. They don't have another contract in Burkina.
So would you say there's opportunities then? There's opportunities for companies if they want to expand their businesses in looking at West Africa. There's certainly opportunities in business there and drilling, assay labs, geophysical surveys? Do you think there's an unmet need there?
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we have enough company for that. Yeah.
What are your commercial air links like now into Europe? Is Ouagadougou got commercial flights coming in and out now?
Sorry, can you?
There's sufficient capacity on the airlines for people if you want to travel. Is it quite easy to travel around your region now, or are there still some restrictions traveling between countries or traveling to Europe? Or
Yeah, by airline, traveling by airline, it's not problem. You just have to do your COVID test, have your COVID test valid, no more or less than 5 days to get in country. That's not a problem. Just the problem is we crossing the border with the car and other things like this is difficult. By airline, there is no problem to get in the country. All the country around are open. Yeah.
So we're hearing about some difficulties just crossing the borders. So between the countries, it's a bit slower, and it's taking quite a while to process.
Yes, very difficult. Yeah, to cross the border by car.
Yeah.
It's still the border are closed by car, but by airline it's okay.
Okay, good. Anna, could I ask you the same question? What's the cross-border situation like over there? Is equipment and the supply chains still moving freely, or are you hearing of significant delays?
I think, well, obviously we're on the coast. So in terms of Dar es Salaam, the port is still operating for goods and equipment coming from outside of the continent. There were some delays across the EAC, the East African community, in terms of crossing of goods and equipment between sort of Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, etc. And there was a brief sort of almost stalemate between the countries, which has since been resolved. So there are some, and the main thing is obviously testing, being able to produce a negative test, and that's been reciprocated on both sides of the borders. So there have been some delays, but it is a lot better than it was a few months ago. And then in terms of commercial air linkages, we've got a number of airlines that are flying reliably, be it sort of Ethiopian, KLM, Qatar, etc. So access to the Middle East and then to Europe directly is largely consistent and reliable.
So Anna, I find it interesting. I've met you in Melbourne before and in Perth, and to see that you're based in Tanzania. Just reflecting back on the last 9 months, are you happy that you stayed there? Do you think that's been a good thing? And do you think that'll open up some opportunities for you, sticking through this period in Tanzania?
I hope so. Yeah, I think there's a number of projects and very good projects pre-construction. And so we have sort of a handful who've either been granted a mining license or who are on the cusp of being granted a mining license, a special mining license. And I think in 2021, we're going to have a big wave of new projects that will start construction. And there's been a backlog for a number of years. So obviously in 2017, we had significant legislative changes, and applying a sufficient amount of regulatory detail has taken some time that will enable those projects to move. So just last week, we had the regulations for the government's free carried interest were published. So things like this, which have taken a few years to come through, will now be, I hope and believe, a catalyst for those companies that are sort of pre-construction and trying to attract, be it debt or equity, to now sort of have the sufficient level of detail to finalize some of those funding deals and hopefully move towards building projects in 2021. So, I mean, I'm very glad that I'm still here. I love it here. And I think from a business perspective, 2021 should see a lot of those projects start to make significant and visible progress.
Well, that's excellent. Yeah, I know that when the government changed the mining law in 2017, that it was very unclear how the government's interest was going to be scoped. So it sounds like they're sorting that out, and that allows people now to go forward and apply for their SMLs and the government's percentage, or how they take part in the projects in the company, is now much clearer. That's very good news.
Yeah, particularly for those in exploration. I think the companies already in production can frankly continue producing and making money whilst the regulatory change was being worked out. But those who require some form of external financing to build a project I think that lack of clarity on the free carry was really slowing down a lot of those conversations. So hopefully now that we've got some robust regulations around that, we should be able to move next year.
All right, well, that's great. Well, I think that's probably all we've got time for today. Is there anything that either of you would like to say before we sign off, just before, and we might end up having a few questions later on?
Yeah, from my side, it's okay. I don't have any question. Yeah. Maybe we can keep contact. If there is anything I will use to you, yeah, we can keep contact for the future. No,
it's really nice to hear from you today, Ballo, and I'm sure that all the people at IMARC have appreciated hearing from someone on the ground and what's going on there, getting a seeing that things are continuing quite well. I wish you and Arrow Minerals and then all the other companies, of course, in West Africa all the best, and I hope you have a nice busy dry season and find lots of gold and other minerals. So yeah, very nice to meet you, and thanks for taking part today. And Anna, also nice to catch up with you again. Thanks for your frank discussion. That sounds really interesting, what's going on there in Tanzania and elsewhere. So yeah, all the best, and I hope to see you face to face soon, both of you. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, and thank you. Nice to meet you, and hope we keep in contact.
Every day, we are learning more about our changing world. Every day, ideas are born, challenges become opportunities. To achieve our purpose, we need people who can turn ideas into reality, who can create success. That's us at ABB. Thinkers, engineers, scientists, innovators. We push the boundaries of technology to make industry safer, more intelligent, and more productive.